Hello, and welcome to a totally gnarly episode of Crusty Old Comic Kooks, starring everyone's favorite superhero and superhero skater boy, Rocket Racer. I am your host, Captain Buttcrack, and joining me today is Spider-Dan. Dan, I got a question for you. Skate or die?
Skate.
Oh, well, you answered that pretty fast. I didn't even think about it.
I'd rather not die. And in fact, it could happen while skating. So,
well, you might die laughing from this superhero villain we're talking about today.
Who's that talking about skating? Is that Spider-Dan? Where you been, man?
Fighting crime, dude. Where you been?
I've been doing all the work. I've been doing everything. I thought you quit.
I would never quit you, Box Man. I've just been swinging around different towns, making stuff happen, buddy.
I know. I've been mean to you in the past. I'm sorry, man. I've been going through some stuff.
Yeah, I know stuff goes through you, too.
Sweet. Now watch this sick ollie. Here I go. Oh, fudge. That was my favorite bong. My grandpa gave me that bong.
Bro, why are you skating with that glass bong?
Well, now you tell me. Shoot.
Well, I think there's a lesson here, Boxy.
Kids, don't never go skating with no glass bong, okay? You bring you a plastic bong, so if you drop it, it don't break.
Exactly. All right, let's get on with the show. Before we start, I just want to shout out to my friend James, who gave me this excellent shirt from the Captain Alcohol comic. I mentioned in the episode 5, that would make a funny shirt, and he literally got it made on a shirt for me. It's Fiery Fritz talking his crazy crack talking. And one more thing, we got some complaints about blurry pages in the past. What you need to do is adjust the settings when you're watching YouTube. It's a little gear in the bottom, and move it up to the highest setting. It will always default to the crummiest setting. Also, these are 70s comics, and literally sometimes the pages are like old and blurry. And that's just how it is. But that should help a little bit. Now it's time for the Rocket Racer. Of Spider-Man's many silly foes, the Rocket Racer is one of my favorites just for the sheer ridiculousness. A dude with a rocket-powered skateboard that can go up buildings. How could Spider-Man possibly defeat that? What was your initial reaction to the Rocket Racer, Dan?
In a word of the time, funky. He was funky, man. He looked cool. And it was just, as soon as you saw him, you wanted to see what he was all about. So mission accomplished with him on the cover.
Well, Rocket Racer, a.k.a. Robert Farrell, was co-created by Len Wein, I hope it's Wein, who co-created the Swamp Thing, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, many other wonderful characters, but I'm sure he'll be most remembered for Rocket Racer. Also co-created by Ross Andrew, who you may remember from our very first episode. One of the main Spidey artists, and a great one, and the one who drew the Mindworm. Well, as for the Rocket Racer, there isn't one issue particularly worth going all the way through, so we're just going to crib the best fights from his first 3 comics and a kooky 80s one. Here we go, the cover of Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 172. Dan, what do you think about this cover?
I remember deciding that it was really fun because of how incredibly different the bad guy looked. Plus, I too was into skateboarding around that time, or maybe this is what got me into it. Either way,
I love the colors. Absolutely love the colors, but I gotta say, it's too busy for me. The big Spider-Man in the corner next to the actual Spider-Man is weird, especially because in scale they're so similar to size. Then the webs going across his knees. Then putting the big circle with the mystery villain is a little bit confusing, and there's a lot of dialogue. So this is not my favorite cover, but whatever.
But it is busy, and it lends itself to this frenetic craziness we're about to enjoy.
It's true. It's an eye grabber, but the splash page I think would actually make a better cover. But
we're both right as usual.
As usual. All right. That's a splash page. The Rocket Racer looks so cool. And they also forgot to color Spider-Man's head. So that's a little printing error. And I love the apologia, which I've never actually did not even know that was a real word until reading this. It says, apologia. We tried to wait, Marvelite. Honest, we did. But then things began happening so fast and so furious, we had to start without you. First of all, what are they talking about? Like,
Talking about where they come in the story. Like the story's already happening. It's super aggressive. And yeah, they pulled the page off Glynis Wine's desk before he or she was done coloring the thing.
Okay, and then also forgot about scads. Scads is also a real word. So did you know about scads? Yeah. Let's bring scads back. Well, there are scads of things to get through for the rest of this comic. So here we go. Page 2. Oh, and we're off. Spidey quickly learns that the Rocket Racer is actually an agile and surprising foe. Easy to underestimate, I suppose. Look out for that rocket punch.
Yeah, I mean, the story delivers the high RPMs established on the cover and the splash page. I mean...
All right, page 3. Okay, the fight is on. Gyroscopes, magnetic clamps, mini rockets. Why this guy's a regular hypno hustler.
Whip up some shields. Honestly, I'm impressed that Spidey's kept up with him this long. How did Norman Osborn not kill this guy and grab his tech?
One a tiny flaw with skateboarding technology. If you hit a little rock in the road, you're going flying.
Yes, indeedy. Yes, indeedy. Well, I've not tried skateboarding with rockets, so it could go right over the little pebbles. I don't know.
Lots of pain. Skateboarding is a very painful thing to learn. Okay, classic ad paid, a bunch of random junk, but the one that stood out to me that I was curious about was the hilarious Dixie Dictionary. I found a vintage Dixie Dictionary online from the same era. I don't know if this is the exact one they're giving you, but I'm guessing it's something similar to this. So I'll read some of the entries that make it a Dixie Dictionary, which I guess just means from the South. Heaven. I'm having some folks in for dinner. Okay. Oh, heaven is having. I see. Jabber. Did you ever, like, Jabber see such a sot? Jabber read such a cool comic? All right. Page 6, moving right along. And the Rocket Racer, Spidey gets a brain and webs his skateboard. Don't know why it took him so long to figure that out. What do you think that is?
Everything was happening too fast, I guess. Plus, I think Spidey was so impressed that he actually wanted to see some slick moves by this groovy cat.
I mean, in all honesty, if I saw a dude who dressed like this, like skateboarding up the sides of buildings, and that's kind of Spider-Man's territory too. So, yeah, maybe he was like, well, let's see what this guy can do. And he couldn't do much because he got his ass kicked in 6 pages. Oh, that's so sad. It's like he has the cover and he only lasts 6 pages and it moves on to a different story. But he comes back in just 10 issues later, which is crazy. So I can only guess they got letters about how much kids like him. Dan, did you write one of those letters?
Oh, you know that's right.
Okay, here we are. 10 issues later, he comes back. He has the cover. Rocket Racer's back in town. Now, what do you think of this cover, Spider-Dan?
This was an instant classic for me. I love the art in every way. And the back in town sounded just so cool and ominous. I fondly regard this cover.
I am a fan of it too. And the main reason is, and this is what's cool about all the Rocket Racers covers, is the perspective. You know, you're way high in the sky. Things are tiny below you. The cars, they're on a bridge. There's a boat way down there. You know, Spider-Man spends so much of his time in this realm, way high up in the buildings and stuff. You don't always see that in the covers. But this one, you really feel like he is up there really far. Plus that crazy punch. Everyone's bodies are at such wild, like, dynamic angles. Yeah, this is a good cover. I know. All right. The comic inside, unfortunately, is not the greatest. So we're going to jump to another issue, with my favorite one of all of them, the Rocket Racer and the Big Wheel.
Oh, hell's yes for me. This cover really takes me back. I swear I saw this as a kid, and it got my wheels spinning for a while. It is the stuff of any kid's imagination.
I agree with you. I think this is a great cover. And right away, you're just like, what the hell is even going on? He's got him by the neck. He's about to deck him. Here comes this ridiculous thing behind him with two clampy hands.
I want to ride it. I want to be in it. I want to check it out.
We're going to jump ahead into the story and just jump to, I think, page 7 so we can get to the action. The Rocket Racer is blackmailing a guy who pulled a job to get money for his sick mom in the hospital who happens to be sharing a room with sick Aunt May. Peter Parker's Spidey sense warns him something dangerous is inside. It's the Rocket Racer out of costume. Could this really happen, Dan?
Yes, the Rocket Racer could really be out of uniform. But the Spidey sense shouldn't be ringing unless there's immediate danger, which is what old Pete was trying to figure out. So they at least let us know that he was thinking it too. They acknowledged it. But they've definitely used this as a bad guy detector from time to time. They definitely did it with Venom. You know, there wasn't immediate danger, but he sensed Venom was around. So they've leaned on this once or twice.
The rules of his spider sense are a little bit nebulous. All right, the Rocket Racer gets knocked out of the room, which luckily gives him a chance to change into his costume. It's just one of those natural things. So even for Peter Parker, this is a pretty crazy day. He goes to visit sick Aunt May in the hospital, and whammo, sudden Rocket Racer fight. Dan, has this kind of stuff ever happened to you?
All the time.
No, I don't know if you're being facetious or telling me the truth. Either way, all I got to say is, wow, free bikes, burgers, and candy bars. I mean, that's pretty much every kid's dream right there, right? What I didn't know as a kid, I never put 4 and 4 together or whatever. I didn't realize that Sugar Daddy and Sugar Mama created sugar babies.
Correct.
Not until this exact moment in my life as a crusty old 50-year-old man that I see them all together, I'm like, oh, all right, next page, this beautiful ad. Now, these are the kind of ads that I love comics for. Look at this crazy drawn art. Spider-Man looks terrible. The Hulk's body's all weird and out of proportion. All these crazy, Mego dolls, and they're all great dolls. But the thing that caught my eye was the Supervator, which I had never heard in my life until this exact moment. Which, right, like this crazy toy, the Supervator Super Action Flyby Magic Glove Super Backpack. And it includes nasty secret plans. Dan, do you have any nasty secret plans for this weekend?
Yes, but they're secret.
Okay, you can't tell anybody. It's too secret. Well, anyway, the toy worked like this. Here's the Supervator operating manual. Okay, got all that. All right. And then you do this. Okay. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, you got that?
I just wish the toy inventors of the time had as much notoriety as the comic book writers and artists. I mean, they were in a class of their own. Look at this.
I gotta agree with you, and it's been nice having the internets to look at all this stuff a little deeper. The blog, the 13thdimension.com, had this info on this and all the pictures, which is great because I would have never known what it was if they didn't do it. Okay, page 11. Back to the action. Holy cow! I didn't think I yanked him that hard.
Hey now, talk about weekend secret plans.
Spidey yanks the Rocket Racer so hard he almost thinks he killed him, but the skateboard is remote controlled. It's pretty amazing how derpy this guy is, but also somehow good. Quite the combo. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, it's the backglider with wheels, for God's sakes. I mean, which is maybe what makes it seem more realistic, a little more accessible. You know, This comic just bringing back so many memories. These panels, there's something that it's not like I have them readily available in my head, but I remember these. Once I see them, I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen these before, man.
All right, why don't we read this page 12. Okay, ready? Okay, I'll be Rocket Racer.
And we're going
Here we
12.
go.
Wait, I'm
Yep.
on 13.
Me. Okay,
Where's 12?
here we go. Here's what I think Rocket Racer sounds like. Gotta angle this just right, or the impact of the ground will be too fast. Yeah, I'm doing it. Skimming out those poor cars. Gnarly. Slowing myself down just perfect. Now to get back to Spidey's and show him what's coming down.
Hey there, Cuddles. Going someplace? Hope you don't mind me joining you, because here I am.
Dude, that's the greatest insult in all of comics. Cuddles.
I just want to spoon you. Can I be a little spoon to start? Say, did you miss me while I was gone?
I may have before, Web Slinger, but not this time.
Oh boy, he's firing those micro rockets again. If only one of them gets me, I'm done for. I had to say done for that way. Too late to web weave a blockade. Gotta find something else to take the brunt of their impact.
We've often stated that our webhead has the proportional strength of a spider. Now you can see what we've meant by that. After all, how many normal college seniors can lift a rather weighty Volkswagen car, little Volkswagen ad there, let alone hold it for long enough to take the impact of the Rocket Racer's micro missiles?
Give me that sound effect.
Oh, hold on.
Come on.
Well, I'm not drunk enough. Well, why not? Say, spacam!
Ugh! Rockets crush me to the wall. The pressure is overwhelming.
Not bad, loser. Of course, you'll survive long enough for me to personally do you in.
Don't bet on it, punk! Huh? You won't be in any shape to do anything but die!
Oh, I think that's the wheel guy. And his knee is saying, huh? I love when they put the word bubbles coming out of weird body parts, like the knees, huh? All right, that was good. Here it is. Everybody, stand back, get ready for the big wheel.
Right. The wheel
He's
guy.
so stoked, too.
The wheel man.
He's all like, yeah, I got the big wheel. Well, from being crushed by a car to being rescued by the big wheel. Some quick background. The terrible tinkerer, which is ironic because he's a great tinkerer, built the big wheel for the guy the Rocket Racer was blackmailing. Jackson Wheel, W-H-E-E-L-E, to get back at him. So the terrible tinkerer also built the Rocket Racer's gadgets. So he built both of their stuff, and he knew he was building it for him. So I guess he just really likes tinkering. Okay.
Do you imagine it on like a speaker system, like the big wheel, race fans, hot rodders?
And also, I'm just trying to imagine what it sounds like because it looks like there's metal studs on the bottom of the wheel. So it must be like brrr when it's like coming up the wall at you. So it must sound like completely crazy.
This calls for a fan film.
A million views from our big wheel fan film. Okay, page 18. Sweet dialogue on this page. How about a dramatic reading? I'll be Rocket Racer again, and you be the big wheel. What do you think the big wheel guy sounds like?
So there you are, cretin. Did you actually believe you could... What? Ineffectual. Oh, did you actually believe your ineffectual little missiles could damage me? Who wrote this? My outer shell revolves so swiftly it explodes. Your rockets before they can get near me. It's more of a Green Goblin-ish. I apologize.
Batap. And to which Rocket Racer replies, nuts.
Love that. And there's an ad for nuts. All right, hold on.
Product placement for nuts.
I don't know. I think this guy does have this voice. Okay. Do I see your fearless facade vanish now, fool? Do you like all my words? Will you cry and what? Beg?
Cry.
Oh, will you cry and beg for me to halt my unrelenting barrage of words? Beg, Racer, beg, and perhaps I will be merciful.
Dude, this guy gets one big wheel, and now he's like a stud. All right, final panel. You gotta be joking, Turkey. Gnarly. You can't bag me if you can't catch me. Eat my dust, Sweetums, because that's all you're gonna get off the Rocket Racer. Sweetums. That's some good dialogue.
I mean, I you know what? I want to do a fan film on just this page, on just this. I mean, forget the costumes and the big wheel. This dialogue deserves to be acted out.
This is why, some people laugh at 70s comics, but this is why I love them. I mean, it's just the writing is so fun. Yes, Spidey is catching up to the fight and figuring things out, and I love this art. More top-down aerial perspective that is cool. Okay, Spider-Man captures the rocket racer just in time for the big wheel to catch up. What's going to happen? An ad page is going to happen. I saw this a lot as a kid, and of course, I always wanted one. So funnily enough, I've seen a skateboard probably, 1,000 times in my life, maybe more, based on how frequent it was in comics, but I've never actually looked up what you got. And this might be the one ad where they don't rip you off. So here it is. You literally get a big old skateboard that looks pretty nice for this era. I mean, a lot of skateboards were goofy.
Somebody say skateboarding? Because I'm ready to shred, bonehead. I'm gonna do a backside Benihana Mongo style and then land it ham and cheese.
Wow, you can do that?
No, I'm just gonna ollie.
Okay, here I go. This time for real.
Oh, burn! Dang it! Dang it! Dang it! I really thought I had it there. Shoot.
Buddy, are you okay?
I'm fine. I just can't hold a bong for a while.
Okay, while Boxy pulls himself back together, let's get back to the story. Another page. I'll stop saying the numbers since they don't correspond to the actual numbers. But that's the end of the Rocket Racer and the big wheel. He just goes into the soup and I guess dies in his rocket. Does he drown? I don't know.
I think the big wheel probably just rolled over to Roosevelt Island and got out of that thing.
I don't think he dies, but yeah, that's the end. Peter goes back to his life of other problems. The rocket, or the big wheel guy, Larry Will, probably drowned because he couldn't get out, and the rocket racer raced off to fight another day. Well, okay, those are the good ones, and now for one of the dumbest villains that I have seen ever, and I've seen a lot of dumb villains. Somebody who is just, to me, an embarrassing idea is the villain in Web of Spider-Man 57, and the cover says "Sucked in by the Skinhead," starring the Rocket Racer. We're jumping like a full decade ahead. This is 1980. Oh, I can't read it. It's so tiny. 88, I think.
Yeah, was there a writer's strike that year, or what? Like, was this some scab writer? Like, what happened?
Here we go. Let's jump into it.
Nice
Page 2. Okay. So it turns out there's this big blorby skinhead monster thing that is absorbing the other skinheads, I guess, to become even more racist.
They're all dressed nicely, though. I mean, how often do you see that? I would expect them to be in jeans and tank tops, but
Yeah. Well, that's, you never know.
This is Manhattan.
Yeah, that's Manhattan for you. So he absorbs them all and gets new powers, and now becomes Skinhead. It's hard to even say it without laughing. Yeah. It's so dumb.
I just don't like having to look at it in every effing panel.
Skinhead, the White Redeemer. Oh, Lordy. Okay, here we go. A bunch of dumb stuff happens. Rocket Racer makes his pivot to being a good guy in this comic. So I think that's kind of interesting. And then whammo, racist blob attacks. Next page. I mean, Rocket Racer is a bad guy, but
right.
His skateboard got a little rounder too. Okay. Racist blob is no match for a cool dude on a rocket-powered skateboard.
Of course not. With a rocket punch and
mini rockets. He still got his mini rockets. Yeah. Okay, next page. So the super racist blob father is Jewish, and that's the big twist, and that's why he became racist. All right, page 22. Okay, it's page 22. Pretty bunch of cool ads, how to order little comic books. The one that's jumped out to me, besides the Freddy Krueger comic, is the Bon Jovi Metallica Guns N' Roses comics. Okay, anyway, so just for your edification, here's what the comic looked like, and then pretty good Bon Jovi. You know, not too terrible. And here's an actual side-by-side comparison of Bon Jovi and the Bon Jovi comic.
There's some fine looking hair. That is a mane of hair. Fine.
Okay, Spider-Man's still fighting racist Blob, and the pain's almost over. A little bit of a spittoon. His dad is crying about his racist son. It's a good reason to cry. Next page. Spidey figures out there's a man inside all that hateful goo, and there's a great line at the end.
I can't fight a shapeless, formless mass of flesh. What's he say? Of course, if this doesn't work, I'll be up to my hip huggers in bigot stew.
His hip huggers.
I'm using that. I'm using that tomorrow somewhere. Bigot stew.
All right. Well, here's the big ending. The big racism is wrong ending. Let's read the last two panels. You could be Spider-Dan.
So what's wrong with different? We're all different, Mr. Cross. Tall, short, black, white, Gentile or Jew, all different.
Yeah, but when it comes to flesh and blood underneath, we're all the same.
Oh my God.
The human... it's Spider-Man. Go ahead.
The human spirit burns in all of us, Mr. Cross, no matter what we look like or how we live or what we believe. We each hold the torch of human dignity. Okay.
Burp. Hey, beautiful. You want to see my dark room? Burp.
And then there's Katzenberg. Wah, wah, wah.
Dude, it's like the end of like a Saturday morning cartoon in the 80s. Everyone just laughs.
Yeah. The more you know.
Katzenberg.
Oh my God.
Ooh, that was terrible, but it had one really cute ad at the end. I just love Captain America surfing on his shield in the summer saving safari. That is cute. Okay, final thoughts on the Rocket Racer, Dan.
Sorry. Weird but cool. I mean, putting a bad guy on a skateboard had to happen at some point, right? They did what they could. I think the name and the character were just odd enough to work for me. He's very memorable in a fun way. I really just enjoy the spirit of him. I, being a fan of goofball heroes and villains, have been smitten with them since I first laid eyes on him years ago. And the RR still shows up from time to time in different forms, even joining a group of reformed villains called the Outlaws. So he's still around, I guess. But, I think it's one of those things where there was a trend, and it's clear Marvel jumped on it at the right time. And little Dan was super excited to see this skateboarding, villain. And it definitely touched a lot of kids. Okay, and that is the end of our show. Thank you, Spider-Dan. Thanks for having me. As always, a blast to go through the archives. So fun.
All right, and that's all from us.
I think I got it.
You got what?
I'm gonna ollie. I'm gonna try one more time. Okay. Here we go. This is it. This is a big one. I'm gonna do it. Whoop, 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 whoop. Herbo.
Wow!
Wow, you really did it.
Wow.